Action. All right, everybody. So today, welcome to the first video of me in our Electronics 1 class. Today we're going to start soldering, and so I thought for our soldering kind of review, and it should be review for all of you, we would make our jumper wire. And so in your box that I gave you, the box like this, there's some red wire, and there's these alligator clips in here. And you're also going to need your diagonal plier. We're going to make a jumper wire. We need to use this for a few tests that we're going to be doing when we build the radio. Just a couple of basic things. Make sure that you're soldering on top of something. It doesn't necessarily have to be this box, but something that you don't care about. Don't solder on top of mom and dad's kitchen table without having something above where you're soldering so that you don't burn their table or do anything like that. Also, you're going to want to have your soldering iron ready to go. So we got our sponge wet. And this stuff here we have to get relatively hot, so I have my soldering iron set on number 5. Okay, a couple of things. First of all, I ordered all this wire and these alligator clips at the same time, and I accidentally ordered wire that's a little bit too big for the alligator clips. So what we need to do is we need to start with trimming the wire down a little bit, and we're going to do that by getting rid of some of the strands. And so if you take the end of your wire and grab, roughly half of the strands like that, and then just take your diagonal plier and clip them off. That will make this much easier. Okay. Then you're going to want to take the end of your strands, put them through the end of the alligator clip, and we want to run them through the little eyelet on the alligator clip. And if you didn't cut away enough strands or anything, you can always, cut a few more away to make this work. And I'm having issues with this one, really long one here. Okay, so there you can see I got them to pop through. Once you get them to pop through, then you want to get them to go through the other side. And so I was using just this little plastic screwdriver, but you could use just a regular screwdriver or a pen or anything to get them to go through the other side of the eyelet. So I'm just going to kind of stuff them through there. If you don't get them to go all the way through, kind of like what I'm doing, it's not the end of the world, because really as long as they just hang out in there and we can solder in place, that will work just fine, what we have there, okay? So that's gonna work just fine. So for soldering, make sure that you start with cleaning your iron, just like we've done a million times. So I'm gonna start with tinning my iron, and then I'm gonna clean it on the sponge and then tin it again. And did I accidentally drop my eyelet that we just made off? Yes, I did. Well, that's the other one. So now we're ready to solder this. So I'm going to put my iron right on top of here like this. Now I got part of my iron on the copper from the strand, and part of it on the metal of the alligator clip. Now remember, you can melt solder on your iron all day, but that's not the point. The point is that you have to get the actual metal here hot enough to melt the solder. So you can see how I'm melting the solder on this metal right here, not just on the copper. That's how I know I have everything hot enough. So then I'm going to just dump a bunch of solder on here once I'm there, and then remove the soldering iron, and our alligator clip is soldered to the wire. Make sure you don't have to do this, but if you have a way to crimp this end, it'll keep your wire from bending back and forth and fatiguing out. And so the correct way to do this is with a electrical multi-tool, and I didn't have enough of these to put in the kits because they're about 30 bucks a piece for a good one. But I'm going to go ahead and do it with this one right here, and put a good crimp in there so that it can't move. And you can see how I did that. You could also just do this with a pliers or a vice grip and just crimp it down. If you don't have that stuff to crimp it down, don't sweat it. It'll definitely get the job done for the rest of your of our radio project. Okay, so that's it for today's soldering review. The next video we're going to be starting on the radio. Have a good one. Cut.